Hey everyone. Everyone is doing great. To be honest, I think we missed you from the last time we had a session with you back in June, quite a long time ago. So, welcome everyone to our Modern API Tech Talks. Today we have an interesting agenda for you. We're gonna welcome to some of you. If you haven't joined our Modern API Tech Talk sessions, I'm gonna give you all things about what this community is. Then we'll get things started with me giving you the walkthrough to the new community site for the entire Google Cloud community. And then Luis is gonna take over to take you through his AI Gateway session. And at the very end, if you have any questions or comments, we'll be happy to more than happy to go through those. So let's take a look. Those of you, yes, hopefully, Luis, we'll get there eventually. For those of you who may be new to these sessions, the Modern API community actually was founded by Luis here. It was originally founded to be based in Madrid, hence the acronym with MAD in Madrid. But the purpose of this community is to empower all of you enthusiasts and practitioners for Apigee and application integration across the world. So you can keep on having this community at the back of your shoulders. You can keep learning alongside with us and you can connect with others. So welcome everyone if this is your first time joining us in the Modern API Tech Talks. These sessions will always have this format. We'll have either one or two presentations by Googlers to you. And at the very end, we can have Q&A and office hours so you can keep on asking questions and engaging with us. This, as you can see, is not a moderated session. So feel free to open your mic, raise your hands, use a reaction, or use the chat because we'd love to interact with you. This is a panel that we have created so that you can get in contact with us. We're going to meet almost every Thursday, so keep an eye on the agenda we have for you on the landing page for this event. And all of these sessions will be recorded, and you'll be able to find those through the Google Cloud community, now changing name to a new one, or into the Modern API YouTube channel. As usual, I would love to make this call to action and invitation to all of you. If you'd like to share your knowledge with the community, you're more than welcome to be on this stage. Feel free to reach out either way through the community or through LinkedIn, or I can even leave you my email so that we can arrange having you as a speaker in this stage. And with that, remember the Q&A. We will love for you to engage with us. Don't be shy. There are no bad questions. There are just people who keep their questions to themselves. So engage with us, please. We'll love to connect. So like I said, Luis is going to be joining me as a speaker today. He is our barista for the Apigee and application integration team, a really special guy who knows wheels about coffee. And I'm happy to join him as well to present you the Google Cloud community changes today. So with that, let's get things started. Some of you may already be engaging with the community, and the name that we used to have was the Google Cloud community. Now we have changed that to the Google Developer Program Forums. A bit long compared to the other one that we had, but it has its very good reasons. So you may be asking the big why we're making the change in the community. And let me just copy and paste the link to the new site here in the chat. You also have that in the QR code so that you can access the community. And well, based on the feedback that we've been hearing from you, that was our guide to make the change. You've been asking for robust markdown, a powerful search, and a very efficient community. So that's what we're able to achieve. We migrated from Chorus to this course. And now I'm happy to show you all of the things that we have new, which is a modern and intuitive community that is fresh and clear and has seamless navigation. And I'm pretty sure some of you will find it really great because it has now a dark mode, something we didn't have in the previous community. We also have AI-powered experience. We have a minimum of 4 new tools you can leverage using Gemini. So it's quite great. I'm going to give you a walkthrough on how to use those. And like you see in the title of the community, now we're going to be doing a seamless login and integration with the Google Developer Program. If you're not familiar with this program allows you to connect and use the tools and keep on learning with the Google for all of you Google Cloud practitioners. So in this way, we create a higher level and most trusted community joining with the program of the Google Developer Programs. So let me know if you have any questions logging in, because let's get things started so that you can join the new community. I just pasted the link in the chat, but you also have it in here. It's going to be discuss.google.dev. That's going to be our new go-to link for the community. And it should be an easy login. Make sure you use your Google account, and that's going to connect you freely to your Google Developer Program profile in case you didn't have one in the past. Making sure you claim all of your information back from the Google Cloud community. You should have received an email from yesterday that gives you the steps and a hyperlink to connect your information from your old profile to this new profile in the Google Developer Program community. If you missed to do this validation to claim your profile, we're going to have to anonymize that one because of security and protection details. So if you don't do that by November 19 of this year, you'll probably will see your contributions anonymized. And I think we don't want to do that because all of you do great contributions to this community. And so if you face any issues while logging in and getting into your new account, feel free to email gdp-forms-support@Google, and they should be able to give you some support there. With that, it's always good to do a recap of our community guidelines. Nothing has majorly changed. Don't worry about it. As usual, we would love for you to be respectful and treat everyone with kindness. This is a professional and no harassment environment, and no offensive content will be tolerated. And that brings me to the third point. If you see any issues that you don't see that are aligning to this part of being respectful within the community, please flag that to us, the moderator, so that we can take a look at that and take actions. We would love to keep our community as thriving as possible. With that, I know all of you may have many questions, and it's always great to get your answers. But before you go and jump in and make a question, let's take a moment to do the search. So once you may find that you have no answer to your question previously in the past, you're more than welcome to use the community forum so that you can engage with us, make your questions, and the clearer and the more context you provide to us, the better that it's going to get, so that we can get in contact and share all the details that the community can provide to your question. And whenever you may reference some external links, make sure you provide context to it. No standalone URLs will be allowed, so let's make sure we keep that in mind. And like I mentioned, we're going to have some AI tools that you can use within the community. So let's just be mindful of the use we give to these AI tools. And last but not least, let's keep this community safe and protect confidentiality. We don't want to find ourselves flagging some details that might need to be hidden with you engaging some community questions. So let's be mindful of that. And as usual, your data matters. So all of your information is handled according to the Google privacy policy. With that, here is the link. And also when you log in into the community, you'll see on the right rail the option to go to the community guidelines. So moving on, I'm going to have to start to change how I share my screen so that I can go into the community and not just show you slides. So I know most of us, we would like to keep updated on some of those topics, conversations that we want to keep on engaging. So in this thread that was shared by Shimiqua, you'll be able to see that you can set up and tailor the level of notifications you want to have. So when you go to a category, you'll see the bell and you'll be able to select from a range of options so that you can set up your level of engagement in those notifications, as well on single threads. And you can also do that for tags. So let's say you're working specifically with Apigee X or Hybrid, you may want to keep updates for the notifications on those tags. So this quick guide will help you set up your notifications. The structure of the forum, Apigee in the past and integration services was a standalone forum just within the Google Cloud community. That has changed, and I think this diagram shows this perfectly. We used to be just forums, Apigee and integration services. That has changed for good. Apigee now is still a subcategory underneath Google Cloud, but now we don't not just have the forum, we have a knowledge hub where you'll be able to find all things technical walkthroughs, tutorials, and insights for Apigee and API management related. You'll be able to find our events and news and announcements. Keep an eye on this tab because we'll keep on sharing a summary of the release notes and other product updates that the PM team will be sharing with you. We're going to have the same for integration services, which is where we cover application integration, but you'll see the subcategories starting next week. Moving on, some of these icons within the threads, you might be familiar with those, which is the pin and unpin icons, and also the mark as an accepted solution. You should be pretty familiar with those, but we have a new one, which is a log. If you see a log in one of the threads of the community, that means we have decided to block the conversation and you will no longer be able to reply to that thread anymore. If that thread is still relevant to your question, we will advise you for you to reference to it via link. But yeah, we're just trying to keep this hygiene engagement with the community. So that's why some of these threads might be logged. And if you want to give some kudos, some likes, make sure you go and hit that heart button. If you want to share the link, you can add the actor link. And like I mentioned before, if there is anything to be flagged to the moderators, feel free to click on the flag to do so, and bookmark, personalized notifications, and all of the threads will have a timeline for when the engagement happened. Going on to the search, here is what you need to know about finding your answers. You can do either simple word searches, multiple words on AI search results. I'm going to show you how that works in a second. And we have the advanced search options. So feel free to navigate to it. It's pretty amazing, to be honest. And if you want to start contributing to the community, make sure you keep in mind what I mentioned before. You can join the groups, you can take a look at the subcategories, and make your post. You can just go ahead and click on the new topic icon whenever you see it, edit it with your title, your tag, and your question content. You can also save some drafts. And so that's pretty great. You'll be able to find that available if you want to come back. And in the previous community, we used to have ranking levels instead of a trust level. This time, the trust level, all of us, we're going to start as a new user, and then we can start growing there from a trust level 0 to number 3. We don't exactly tell you the details on how you can level up within the trust levels. Like, as any sustainable community, we will love to see consistency. We will love to see you engaging by making questions, giving answers, giving kudos. So feel free to keep on engaging with those, and you'll see you start leveling up in these trust levels. Also, if you look at this all the way down, you'll see all the badges you can get and the badge icons. Moving on, to make the best out of the forum, you'll be finding this other guide from Shamiqua as well. Make sure you explore that so you can take a look at all of the markdown tools that we have when making a post, etc., etc. And last but not least, if you need some support when it comes to your account, you can also come to this thread and fill out this form, which will be happy to give you some guidance too. With that, let's start looking at some AI features that I wanted to show you to all of you. So the first one is the AI helper example. So let's say you have a question in mind, but you're still not so sure on what title you should give to your question. So let's jump into the community. I want to make a question related to application integration. So I should go into integration services. I write my question, which is, I want to know if I can connect my e-commerce platform with Salesforce, something that I can do with app integration, but I'm still curious about it. So I just go ahead and click on the star icon of Gemini, and it's going to suggest me a title to my question. And with that, we get 5 options, really simple as that. The other one that I want to show you is the AI search. So let's go into the example. Let's say I wanted to know about integration connectors. So all I'll have to do into advanced search, I just have to toggle on the AI results, and you'll see with the icon of the start of Gemini, those results that have been suggested by AI. Also pretty great if we want to complement our search. For AI-related topics, let's say I'm looking into learning something about monetization of Apigee. I found a really great thread. It gave me some guidance. It helped me with my question. If we scroll all the way down, we'll be able to see AI-suggested topics on that same topic still. And that way you keep on engaging with the same content that you would like to learn within the community. And last but not least, the AI summaries, which are an amazing thing. If you like just to, let's say you log into the community from 2 weeks ago and you see a thread that you wanted to keep an eye on it, and now it has 5 answers, it's going to be easier if you scroll all the way down to the thread. We click on the summarize, and there you have it. You have now the summary to this thread, and it will be easy to digest or even to jump in and give an answer and contribute to it. With that, let me show you the Apigee subcategory that we have for you. Like I said, remember, we will be nested under Google Cloud. So when you log in into the community, you'll be landing somewhere in here, which is where you will be able to find the 4 major categories for the community, which is Google Cloud, Looker, Workspace, and AppSheet. So if we go into Google Cloud, all you have to do is scroll all the way down to the subcategory of both Apigee and application integration, and there you have it. These are your communities for you. Like I mentioned before, Apigee has the knowledge hub, the events, and news and announcements for you. Let me just pin these links in the chat right now. And so for the Apigee forum, you might be wondering, do I have a subcategory for a forum or something? Just straight away, when you come into the category, you just can go ahead and ask a question Apigee related. Same with integration services. Remember, until next week, you'll be able to see the subcategories for integration services respectively. You can also come in and share your question. And with that, I wrap it up. What I had to present to you with this great community we have presented for you. If you have any questions, I would love for us to leave those at the very end, or even better, go ahead and drop your question in the community. It'll be a great start for you to keep on engaging with this new site. And with that, Luis, take it over. I think he's too shy to start presenting, probably.
I was talking by myself. So let me share my screen. Okay. Okay, perfect. So it's going to be like this. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Here. I'm not being able to present. Can you give me a right?
Oh yeah, sorry about that. Here you go. You should be able to present that.
Okay, let me see if I can do it. Yes, I can do it right now.
Awesome.
Perfect. So thank you so much, Alex, for that wonderful presentation. And it happened something really funny because you were telling me about the migration of the community, but actually I didn't have the chance to see the the look and feel. And yesterday I was doing some research and I was seeing this amazing UX experience, and I was saying, oh, this looks like a lab. It doesn't look like a community. Now that you were presenting, I say, now I remember that Alex told me that a community was going to be migrated. That's why when I was looking for some things, thank you. It is amazing, the new look and feel. Congratulations, Alex.
Thank you, team.
Okay, perfect. So what we are going to see today is pretty much the AI gateway. We have been talking about AI gateway, agentic gateway, and everything for the last couple of months. Actually, here in the community, we have a presentation or several presentations regarding that. This is going to be something like those presentations, but I'm bringing the experience from the field. So we are implementing a couple of those AI gateways. So I want to share my experience with that implementation. As our Alex was saying, I'm Luis Cuellar, and I'm working as a Google Cloud Barist here in Spain. So the first thing that we have to remember is which are the Apigee the most common use cases. The first thing that we are going to have here is how to modernize apps. The second and the third thing that we are going to have here is going to be protect the APIs and activate the data. Okay, so the main focus of this presentation is going to be how we can innovate, sorry, with AI. Okay, this is the thing that we are going to use. Remember that an LLM or an agentic is going to be consumed and is going to consume several APIs. So our idea is that we can have protection of those LLMs using Apigee. So how this is going to be working? Okay, you might have seen this presentation or this slide. The first thing that we are going to do is to generate an API call or maybe an agentic call to an API, and that API right now is going to call an agentic LLM power service. That LLM service is going to call an API that is going to be powered by an LLM that is going to call an API. So this is pretty much what we were stating. We made in the statement like passing the back in the last year. Okay. So what we are foreseeing now is that those LLM power services are going to be based on agents. And pretty much with the coming of ADK and agent space, what we want to do is to create some tools and create some components in order to help the power of these LLMs and these agents, okay? But how the world without an API management looks like in the terms of LLM, this is pretty much the regular use case that we are seeing right now. We are going to have several LLMs in the market. We are going to actually, this is like a little bit old because we have image 4, BL3, and everything. So this is pretty much the world of the LLMs. And now you can consume those LLMs using your applications, using your agents and everything. The main issue that you are going to find here is that you are going to have cost for each and every LLM, different costs, and you are going to have different ways of calling these LLMs. So, in addition to that, these LLMs are managed and controlled by the provider, for example, by Google, and you have to give or create, in the case of Google, a service account or any kind of identity or a token or something like that in order to publish that service. So if you want to productize something predefined or something custom, sorry, for your internal usage or for the external customers, you need to handle these issues. And additional to that, you are not going to be able to see in a productized way or in a consumer perspective how these models are being consumed, who is consuming this model, and additional the who is consuming this model, who is generating the major expend in this or consuming these models. Okay, so our idea with Apigee is that we can put Apigee in the middle and we can have all of the capabilities that Apigee has, and we can control the calls that we are having from the different customers, different agents, or different areas. We can handle in Apigee, and we can, in this sense, we can reroute everything to the right model, okay? So for example, if I want to call Gemini, I want to request the response from this LLM. The customer is going to go to dash v1 dash Gemini, and we are going to reroute that traffic to Gemini itself. But we are not just rerouting the traffic to Gemini. We are generating analytics. We are generating or we're putting some policies on top of that Gemini model. And additional to that, if we want to have it, we can put some revenue on top of this Gemini component. Okay. So ideally, what we are going to do, we're going to be like a man in the middle, try to control all of the traffic in order to call these LLMs. This is necessary because, as I was telling you, you might have seen this slide. Yes, this is necessary because you are going to have different kind of versions of the LLMs, and additional to that, what happens if you implement something here, like in the customer or in the client or in the app, and for example, the new release of image, the new release of Gemini is just in the corner of the street. So we have to update our apps, we have to update everything in order to be complying with the new specifications. So putting them in the middle can be something that can make the parsing of the call in order to don't affect the customers, and we can create our between codes our own specification in order to model the response that we want to give from the model. So we can create the facade, and we are going to wrap the models behind that. So if anything changes, for example, we are going to pass from Gemini 2.5 to Gemini 3, we can make it that transparent for the customer. Okay. So when we are putting and when we are talking about Gen AI use cases with Apigee, or the things that we are trying to solve is the thing that I just mentioned. We are going to try to productize the AI. How we want to productize the AI is because one of the core features that we are having in Apigee is API productizations, and our roadmap is in terms of AI is going towards a productization of the AI. So we are going to be able later in the future to create specific AI products in order to make some productization of these LLM models. Okay, how we are going to help or why this is going to help us? I was trying to give you just a small drawing here. Just give me 1 second. So I'm going to share this. Okay, so we can do something like this, okay? Perfect. So we are going to have something like this. Okay, we are going to have a product from that we publish in Apigee. We can have a VIP product, we can have a regular product, and we can have a customer that wants to consume any service. So what the customer is going to do is going to reach the product with the credential that the customer is having.
Luis, would you mind to zoom in a bit, please?
First, I was thinking you was.
Thank you.
Okay, so I put my credentials. Sorry, before doing that, I'm going to do like this. Okay, I'm going to put my credentials into my call. So these are going to be the credentials. So with those credentials, what Apigee is going to do, let's say here, is going to verify the credentials, verify the product that those credentials has, sorry, verify the product that those credentials has. And for example, if those credentials are going to be for the customer, what we are going to do with Apigee is to route the traffic to the product customer and route into the Apigee. So when we have identified the product customer, what we are going to do is to say, okay, for this customer, what we want to give access is going to be to regular LLM. Okay, so we are going to identify this. And when we identify this, what we are going to do is with the Apigee API proxy, we are going to route that traffic into, for example, Gemini Lite. Okay, so the customer is doing predict, is going to present the credentials. The credentials are for a regular customer. So we are going to pass this to Apigee. Apigee is going to identify the product of the customer that is going to be regular, and the regular customers are meant to have the Gemini Lite. But maybe that customer later in the future becomes some VIP customer. So instead of going to the regular LLM, is going to go to the VIP customer. Sorry for my drawings. Like this. Okay. And instead of going to Gemini Lite, what Apigee is going to do is going to go to Gemini Pro. Okay, that's pretty much what we want to do in the sense of making the API productization. Why I'm mentioning that? Because in the field, what I'm seeing is that depending on the LLM, it has a cost. Actually, I'm spoiling my questions later in the future. So with that cost, I have to analyze if it works or not to send to any to one LM or to the other LM. So this is going to give us the second component that is going to say cost control. So the cost control can be done in different ways. Okay, so going back to the drawing, we can put in this VIP on these products. We can put, for example, a quota, and this quota can be turned into a token quota, or it can be just a quota from the API proxy, queries per month or queries per second, or we can put both quotas. Okay, so this is going to be a bigger token quota, and this is going to be, for example, a lighter token quota. Okay, so in the sense of having this cost control, what we are going to have here is that in the same way that I identify the products, I'm also going to identify who is going to able to access more or less resources, more or less components, and it can be, for example, just for the same Gemini Pro thing. So remember, we are doing the cost control by identifying when a customer is VIP and has to access, for example, to a VIP between quotes model, and also we can give them a quota regarding the tokens itself. Okay. The second and the third thing that we are going to have here is going to be pretty much the analytics. The analytics is going to help us to understand, for example, who consume what in which moment. For example, my VIP customer is consuming a lot of this, so I can offer him a different quota, a different plan, a different product, and I can like make a we can follow which is the consumption of that customer, and we can like tailor plans, for example, for those customers. When I'm talking about customer, it can be internal customers or it can be external customers, because remember that some of the use cases that we're having with the LLMs is for the internal usage, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to cost to the company. So we can also have internal VIP customers, internal non-VIP customers, and we can do the routing behind that. And with that, you can have the analytics. And finally, and this is pretty much what we are going to do with this presentation, the security components. Okay, I'm going to save this for later in the presentation. So these are the challenges that we're having in LLM component. Is going to be pretty much what I just told you: distribution and usage, safety and security, latency and cost. And for my experience, this is one of the things that is the hardest to control. How we control the latency, because we don't know how it's going to be the prompt, if it's going to be a complex or a simple prompt, and especially we don't know how it's going to be the response. It can be a complex or a simple response. So the latency is going to be able, so the latency is going to be depend also in the model that we are trying to get information from, and also it's going to depend on the input and the output. The performance is pretty much related to the latency, and availability is going to depend also in the model that we are going to have. The reporting and auditing is the thing that we were discussing about. I want to know who is consuming what, in which sense, how much this consumption of this customer is costing me in terms of LLMs. Okay, so for each of these components, we have different kind of solutions from Apigee in order to protect and save and help us to face these challenges. Okay. So this is the architecture that we are going to have in agentic and LLM era. So for the people who doesn't know, these are components from GCP. So ideally, what we are going to have is a load balancer in order to expose everything behind these components. And in this cloud load balancer, we are going to put something called Cloud Armor. That is going to be a WAF. Once the agent experience is going to get into the load balancer, the traffic is going to be rerouted to Apigee. Okay, so Apigee is going to use something called Model Armor. I'm going to see it in a couple of seconds. This Model Armor is going to protect the prompts and the response from malicious content. We can have security components like advanced security from Apigee and the analytics. Once we receive this, the agent is going to consume different kind of models, and it's going to happen pretty much the same thing. Okay, it's going to happen to model armor, and we can do the reboot that I was talking you about. This is a how, for example, we can also implement or do a drill down into the architecture, and how, for example, in the middle, I was talking to you about security, how in the middle we can put the security components. The customer is going to go, we can have some protection like threat protection, authorization, and authentication, and something called semantic caching in order to also protect or not going to make some also cost control. All of these components are measured by Apigee. The traffic is going to go to the agent, and the agent is going to consume the LLM or other components in GCP or external GCP using, for example, application integration, right? And once we have that consumption, is going to be, as I was telling you, exactly the same thing from the LLMs. We are going to put Apigee, some capabilities like chargeback, model garden, analytics, model templates, authentication, authorization, in order to protect the models that can be in the cloud, can be in on-premise, and also we can use this component to integrate, for example, in application integration, as I was telling you, to GCP or to the third parties, okay? Perfect. So that was the statement that I want to say in order to present what we are going to see. Now, I want to show you the fancy new AI policy that we're having that we just launched in preview like 2 or 3, actually more than 1 month ago. So the policies that you have already heard about was semantic caching, that pretty much what we are going to have is to do a caching of the prompts and also from the response. We are going to do model safety, and pretty much what we are going to put in the middle is something like a model armor to protect our prompts in request and response. And additional to that, we can have and we can do some model routing and failover, as I was telling you about at the beginning of the presentation. Okay. So why I'm telling you that is our fancy new AI policies, because we can use those policies from AI template. Okay, I don't know if you notice, but if you go to Apigee and you can create in order to create a proxy, you are going to see the AI templates to create proxies with model armor and proxies with semantic cache. That's the new thing that we are going to use. The model armor is going to be used to sanitize the prompts, and the semantic caching pretty much is to catch some similar request and response. Okay. So prior this launch, what we have, for example, in order to do semantic caching. So sorry, I'm going to go back. What the customers has to do or have to do in order to provide a semantic caching with their own tools. The first thing that they have to do is put the embedding. So the request is going to come. So we are going to put that prompt in order to make some embeddings. After doing that embeddings, we are going to save those embeddings into the cache. And after saving those embeddings into the cache, we are going to do some vector search in order to understand if one of the requests or one of the prompts is similar to other prompts. So we are going to do this in the first time. And the second time, what we are going to do is compare the new prompt with the previous prompt that we have in the cache. Okay, so this is going to be if you don't have the semantic cache policy. Okay, but now using the semantic cache templates and now using the semantic cache policy, what we are going to do is something like this. Just give me 1 second. I'm opening my console here. Is there any question so far?
Nothing in the chat, Luis, at the moment.
Okay, perfect. So we have here, what is the semantic cache? Semantic cache template. Okay, so before that, I just want to show you how to create a new semantic cache. You are going to go to AI templates. You can see proxy semantic cache. And the thing that you have to do here is to put all of the URLs for the embeddings and for the vector search. So all of these things that you have to do here, kind of manually here, you are going to configure at the time of creating the proxy. And after doing that configuration is going to be pretty much a black box. Okay, you configure all of these things. After you configure the vector search and the embeddings, what you are going to do is to use the policies. And you can see here, for example, as I was telling you, pretty much two policies, catch lookup and catch populate. When you put those components, pretty much the first thing that you are going to do is to do a semantic catch lookup in order to see if there is something in the cache. And later, what you are going to see, what you are going to do, if there is nothing in semantic cache, when the LM responds, you are going to do a semantic cache population. And you can see, for example, the vector, the embeddings and vector search already configured here. And the black box occurs and happens because you don't do the semantic itself. So, for example, I'm going to give, sorry, you don't do the caching itself, sorry. So what I'm going to do is to open my console here. I'm going to open my requests. 1 second here. I'm going to take advantage and put the console here. Hopefully it's going to work. I'm saying hopefully because you will never know in this world, okay? In the demo world. Perfect. So I have my query here. Authorize. Perfect. So I'm going to put something like why the sky is blue. This is an example from the documentation. And pretty much, hopefully, you have the response here, okay? So you are going to see in a couple of seconds the component. Okay, perfect. So we are going to do the request. We are going to do the semantic lookup cache. It's going to say false because we don't have anything there. It's going to hit the target and is going to populate the semantic cache. Then the second time that I'm going to do exactly the same query, hopefully is going to work. Let's see. Okay, perfect. And it worked. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. So the next time, what is going to happen is that it's going to be replied by the semantic cache. So we have populated the semantic cache, we have everything in the semantic cache, and we have the lookup in the response. So this is the response that we are going to have from the cache instead of having that response from the LLM. Okay, so this is the first thing that we are going to do in order to have some cost control. Okay, let's make another try. I'm going to change the, sorry, I'm going to do it here. I'm going to change, is the sky blue? I'm going to change the question, semantically speaking. Let's see if it hits the cache again. And meanwhile, I'm going to hit the why is the sky blue. Okay. So we can see for the latency that the first time we hit the, actually we didn't hit, okay? Semantically speaking, we didn't hit also the backend. And what we have here, I was thinking that yes. Let's see, the content is the sky blue. And with that semantic question, we have the response also from the cache. Okay, we didn't hit the target. So that's how it works, how this policy works from the template. It's really easy to configure. And additional to that, as I was telling you, it's pretty much a black box. You just configure the endpoints, and with that configuration of the endpoints, you are going to have this component working. Okay, the second fancy template that we are having here is going to be the Model Armor template. So pretty much what we are going to do with Model Armor is hopefully have it here. Nope, I didn't have it here, sorry. What we are going to do here is to do the request to Apigee. Apigee with the policy is going to call Model Armor. When calling Model Armor from a template that we have to define, because we have to know what is offensive to my company and what I want to flag as a non-compliant prompt and non-compliant response in order to protect or prevent to the prompt to reach the LLM or to reach any backend. Okay, so once I create this template, that is based in Model Armor, I use this template to do this kind of analysis, and also I can put a threshold in order to say I want to be the threshold to be 80% between quotes compliant. If the traffic is below that, or the compliance or the analysis of the prompt is below that compliance, I want to stop the traffic and not to reach my backend. Okay, so in the same way that we have the template for semantic cache, we have the template for the Model Armor component. And in this case, we have to tell just them we want to sanitize the user prompt, we want to sanitize the response, we want to sanitize both, or yeah, you have to choose one in order to do it. But remember, we have to create that template. So let's go to the prompt. Sorry, to the proxy. Let's modify it. Where are you? Here I have it. Perfect. I have my policies here, and pretty much what I'm going to do is sanitize the response, sanitize the user prompt. When you implement the policy, when you implement the policy, where are you? This is not the one that I want to use. No, this is not the one that I wanted to use. Let me see. Yes, this is the one. Nope, this is not the one that I was using yesterday. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, so ideally, what we are going to do is to, as I was telling you, let's create it from the template. It's going to be created from the template. Say Model Armor template. I'm going to put it v1 example. We have to put the endpoint here. I'm going to put just an example just for you to. We have to put the LLM endpoint here. I'm going to create it just for you to show you how it works. Perfect. And this is the policy that I want to see. Okay. So the policy that we are going to see is going to be pretty much what I was telling you. We have to have the template from Model Armor. This template from Model Armor is going to take the name of the template, and it's going to take the templates from the database of Model Armor, and it's going to identify my profile. And once I identify my profile, what this is going to have, this is pretty much a request format that is going to have, payload format that is going to have even the request of the prompt or response of the prompt, and we are going to do it automatically in order to understand. Okay, So we are going to parse the payload in the response. We are going to parse the payload in the request. And by doing that, what we are going to do is to have some scoring in order to understand if we are compliant with the template or not. So as I didn't find my proxy and we are running out of time, I'm going to use this one. I just want to show the template. I'm going to open the DevOps console. Okay, perfect. And I'm going to use, where are you? Here. We are going to create here. I have to reconnect it. Perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is to paste the code. Okay, and what I'm going to do here is this is the other one. Sorry, I'm going to tell to the model to tell me a joke. Okay, I have it here. Put in my. Okay, perfect. I'm going to tell the model to tell me a joke, and the joke is going to be for sure a pretty bad joke. It's the same joke that yesterday, Alex. So, and actually, I didn't understand the joke. Okay,
It's a
perfect. So
really
I
good
tell
one though.
you didn't understand also?
No, I do. Everything is made out of atoms, Luis. That's why.
Maybe I'm too tired to understand. I still not get it. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to put the exact, oh, sorry, it's not the one that I want to do. The one that I want to do is going to be tell me a joke to hurt somebody. So I'm going to tell them that tell me a joke to hurt someone, okay? So this is going to be offense not compliant content. So it's going to say your prompt has sensitive content. Please review it and try it again. So we are going to see here in the first one, in the first two jokes that it was telling, that we get the backend. It's a mockup backend, okay? But we didn't get the backend because we have the model armor component here. Okay, we have the sanitization of the model armor, and the sanitization of the model armor is going to take in consideration the template that we should use in order to make to understand if the flow or the prompt is compliant or not. Okay, so in these 2 minutes, and actually I wanted to reach this part faster, but I didn't do it. The first question that I'm having for you, once we are doing this implementation of AI Gateway, we have a couple of questions. The question is, do you know how much LLM call cost? Do you know that is going to be called by input tokens, but output tokens is going to be also related to is going to be also related to the model, to premium, light, flash, or something like that. The second question that I have, do you know how much a model armor costs? So for example, I have a, just to give an idea that we have a free tier of 3 billion here. So we have to have that also in consideration. And also, do you know how much embedding some vector search costs? Why I'm saying that? Because we need to do the return for investment, because sometimes we are saying, why should I put, for example, something like model armor, Apigee, embedding some or semantic catching in front of my LLMs instead of just going to LLM? Is going to be cheaper to go to the LLM? The response and the answer is going to be no. Even though we are going to have model armor costs, we are going to have embedding costs, we have vector search costs, the free tiers and everything, is going to be cheaper doing that just going to the model. But you maybe are going to tell me, yeah, Luis, but what happens if I use the light version of the model, the flash version of the model, and that version of the model are cheaper than the model armor cost, the embedding cost, the vector search cost, and everything? I'm going to ask you this. Do you know how much it costs to have a bad response in terms of reputation of your companies? So can you imagine that somebody is going to do a question and you didn't have a protection like model armor, and the model armor is going to tell you a joke on how to kill somebody? It's going to cost a lot to the reputation of the company. Okay. So those are the things that I want, those are the questions that I have for you in order to do the TCO, the return for investment, and have this in mind once every time that you are going to implement the LLM and the AI gateway architecture. So having said that, thank you so much. We are just in time.
Yeah, just in time, everyone. Thank you, Liz, for that great presentation. Like I said at the beginning, if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand and open your mic. I'd love to interact with you. But Luis, the thing about the joke is everything is made out of atoms, and the jokes say because they made up everything. It's like as if, like in a ironical way, as if they invent everything or something like that. You still don't get it.
No,
That's okay.
if
Everyone
you
gives
can
a
tell me in
thumbs up
Spanish,
if
and
you
I'm not
get the
going to
joke.
get it. Perfect.
That's
Thank you so
okay.
much.
Well, team, it was a pleasure to have you joining us again in this talk that we designed for you. We look forward to seeing you next week. And with that, thank you again, Luis, for this great presentation. Please engage in the new
Thank
community
you so
for you.
much.
We'd love to see you there.
Congratulations, Alex.
Thank you, team. We'll
Bye
see you
bye.
soon. Bye bye.